In this video, we're going to look at how Java passes values into methods as they are called. Java uses pass by value. A lot of people like it to call it pass by copy, meaning we're going to pass a copy of the data into the method, and it's not going to affect the original variable that the main method had in that data. So let's take a look at this. We've set up a little program here. See if I can make it a little bit bigger. Okay, we start out with x equal to 1, and then we're going to print out the value of x. So it should print out before the call, x is 1. Then we're going to call this method that we've created called increment x, or it's called increment, and we're going to pass it that value of x, which is 1. When we pass the value of x into this method called increment, it gets stored as an integer called n. Down here, we're going to increase n by 1, which will make the value of n now is 2. And we're going to print out n inside the method is, and it should print 2. Once this method completes, it goes back to the point where we had called it, and then runs the next line, and it's going to print the value of x. And what we will see is that the value of x did not change. We passed a copy of x into n. We changed n, but x remained the same. So let's run this. And we can see this before the call, x is equal to 1. Then we called increment x, and inside this method, it increased n by 1 and says n is now equal to 2, and inside the method is equal to 2. And we went back and printed out from our calling main method after the call, x is still 1. That's because it made a copy of the data that was stored in x and passed that by its value, or passed a copy of it into this parameter called n. So our argument gets passed to the parameter, but it doesn't change the value of the original variable when it gets sent into the method. Let's look at another example of this. Actually, no, I want to do this one more time. Let's set a breakpoint here. And let's run this with debugging so we can actually watch this happen. So I'm going to run this first line, x equals 1. All right, and down here we can see the value of x set equal to 1. And then I'm going to step over that next line, and x is still equal to 1. We're getting ready to run increment x. So this is a method call. I'm going to step into it, and we can see that it comes down here. The next line will run n. Notice, because we're in another method, we're looking at n here. If I go back here and hover over x, it says while we're in this method, it does know, but we can't see it with the debugger right now. So there's n. We just increased n by 1, so down here it shows us n is equal to 2, and it's going to do system out print line, n inside the method is 2. And if we go to our output window, we can see that happened. Okay. And then it takes us back to the calling method. This is where the point where the method was called. The method's complete. So the next line that we'll run is this one. And if we hover over x, we can see that x is equal to 1. And when we run that line, so x never changed that entire time. After the call, x is equal to 1. All right, in the next video, we'll look at another little more complex version of passing data into a method.